Hi, I'm poet and writer Case Spivey. I wanted to talk to you about a book I just finished reading that I really liked. First, I wanted to say I had also been reading Throne of Glass and I had to put it down. I just decided this one wasn't for me. I don't think maybe I'm the age range, but a lot of people have talked about how in Throne of Glass you're expecting one thing and it's something totally different. It's that. It's a romance story and I wasn't going in wanting romance, and I didn't like either of the love interests, to be perfectly honest. Really quick, this is why I put down Throne of Glass. The main character in this is meant to be the world's greatest assassin. So we were about halfway through the book and I realized we didn't know why she was considered the world's greatest assassin. We didn't know who she had killed, we didn't know what she was known for, we really didn't know a lot about her, like other than that she was locked up obviously for being the world's greatest assassin. We just didn't know a lot about her, and halfway through the book we hadn't learned kind of anything new. And like I said, I really didn't like the love interest and I was having a hard time believing in her as the character that she was supposed to be. On the other hand, if you like court intrigue, there's a lot of that going on. It's a lot more court intrigue than it is assassin. I think I was expecting something more like, I was expecting something closer to the His Fair Assassin series. I was expecting more like Grave Mercy, and it's not at all like that. So if you liked Grave Mercy, this isn't the one to follow up with. Whereas if you read this one and you were like, this could have used more like assassin-ness, then this might be closer to what you're looking for. I was getting some like the tournament vibes. I've recently read The Savior's Champion by Jen Marassi, and I was thinking in terms of a tournament type, like high stakes gladiator type battle, that one did that better. So really what you want to be looking for is like court intrigue romance if you're going into this, and it wasn't right for me, so I put it down so I could pick up something that I enjoyed vastly more, and that is this beautiful book here, Truthwitch by Susan Dennard. This was phenomenal. I loved everything about this book right from the beginning. So it's about two girls who are thread sisters, Sophia and Isolt. Isolt? I tried to look up how to pronounce this and there was no agreement on the pronunciation, so I called her Isolt in my head. So that's how I'm going to pronounce her name, and if that's totally wrong, just let me know. Sophia is a truth witch and Isolt is a thread witch, and the threads are really interesting. The way they do the magic system in this book is totally different from anything else that I've read. Everything is based on threads that connect people and connect you kind of to the spiritual universe, like connect so you can have powers. Like, it's such a fascinating magic system. So there's a really interesting world building aspect to this one where the countries are really diverse, they're really established really well. She does a really good job of world building with this one, but she doesn't just give it to you all up front. This isn't a Game of Thrones situation. She isn't just like info dumping all this stuff that there is to know about this world. You have to get all of it through the story. It's like we're following the protagonists with camera and learning about the world kind of through their eyes. So things that are normal to them, such as people getting cleaved, that's just normal to them. So they describe what is happening rather than what is happening. Like, they describe the situation like as they see it, like what is occurring before their eyes, rather than giving us the backstory like this is why people cleave and this is how it happens. You never get anything like that in this, which is amazing because there's so much richness to this world. There's so many different cultures and there's so much to each culture. There's so much to learn, and she doesn't just hand it to you. You have to learn about it as the story progresses. You have to be a little bit willing to pick up on the cultural norms. Like, everything is done as though like these things are cultural norms. These things are well known. Oh, you should know about it too. So she doesn't over explain anything, which was fascinating because it is such a diverse world and like so much going on, and the magic system's so interesting. I just loved it. I loved it so much, and I love the relationship between Sophia and Isolt. They have like such a close bond, and they're both such fascinating characters. So Sophia, the truth witch, comes from a higher class society. She's, you know, conventionally attractive. She's kind of this world's equivalent of a lady, like class-wise. Her power is something that's highly desired in the courts, so it's kind of been a secret because she can tell if someone is lying to her or not. But Sophia has really bad luck. Like, bad luck just kind of follows her. Like, things don't go her way like 99% of the time. Things are just like, Sophia is a train wreck waiting to happen. Isolde, on the other hand, is from an extremely marginalized culture. Similar, probably most similar in our terms to maybe a gypsy people. She walks into a room and people do a sign toward evil across their eyes because she is not seen as worthy of being within society, basically. Like, people are very racist against her, and that's something that she can't hide. She also, because of her power as being a thread witch, part of her training is to be kind of emotionalist. And it's really interesting because she isn't emotionalist with Sophia, because they're very close, and so we don't get that. We get that kind of third hand where people are like, oh, so she's so emotionalist. We don't see that necessarily because we see a lot of her emotions, which is another, I loved how the story did that, how the story assumed you already were part of the world, but gave you enough that you could learn about the world. So Isolde doesn't have the bad luck that Sophia has, but people treat her very poorly, so she doesn't have the same opportunities. And they're balanced, like everything about them balances out. They balance each other out. When they're fighting together, they're unstoppable. But when they're fighting separate, like everything in the world goes wrong. The whole story is just beautiful. There is a bit of romance. One of the guys, okay, I'm gonna talk about that really quick. So, I'm not such a fan of the like brooding hero type guy. I don't know if it's because I'm getting old, but I'm just not into it anymore. So one of the love interests, well, like the main love interest in this one, he's not very nice. It's one of those where like, oh, he has a lot of reason for being this way, and like he's really kind-hearted, he's thinking of his people kind of thing, but like, I'm kind of over the like brooding mean hero who like really isn't that nice and really isn't that, I don't know. I want more nice, like actually nice love interest, or actually like human men where they don't have to be macho. They don't have to be grumpy and rude to the love interest girl and that she falls for that somehow. I'm always like, girl, you could do better than him because he's kind of a jerk. Like, why are you falling for jerks? It was all okay. That didn't like ruin the story for me. This is still like a 5-star read. This was so good. The one thing that I think if I didn't already know that there's 3 more books out in this series, I'd be kind of like, ugh, at the end, because it sort of sets us up so that each character, we're like ready for the next story. Like, here's what each character is heading towards for the next story, and here's where they're gonna be. But like, it felt like such a cliffhanger. Like there was no resolve, no resolution. Like I was just like, oh, I wonder what's happening in this coffee shop. I want to know like what's going on with Polo. Like there's so much stuff that I wanted to know, and I know there's more books, so I'm okay. But I think if there weren't, I'd be like rage about it, because where this ends, like I gotta go and read the next one right away, which is good thing I have it. Although, why is this one shiny and this one's not? What did I do here? I thought I bought the exact same covers and I did not. But anyway, so Wind Witch is next, so I have it, so I'll be starting reading that very soon. Now I want to talk about, okay, that was sort of my excitement and review and like, oh, I'll go read this because it was really cool. I was so happy about it. And the newest book just came out. Blood Witch just came out. My cats are going nuts around here. Oh my goodness. And I heard that this is going to be made into a TV series too. So really looking forward to that. Definitely gonna finish the series before I watch that, or before it probably even comes out, because I'm gonna whip through these now. So all of that's done. I want to talk spoilery stuff now. So I already mentioned my issue with Merrick. If you don't want to be spoiled about anything, go ahead and click off. If you've read more into this, like, don't answer my thoughts here, because I'm gonna find out, because I'm gonna read the next books. But I have some theories and I want to go into them. And my one big theory, click away if you haven't read this. I only finished this last night, so this is fresh. My big theory is that Ryber is the puppeteer. If that's totally wrong, fine. But the first time we meet the puppeteer in Isolde's head is on the ship around the same time that we met Ryber. And I was like not worried about it, but I think at the end, because I'm so focused on worrying about Cullen, who I wish Cullen was gonna be in the next books. Like, it wasn't like a love, I didn't like love him, but I thought he was such a good character and I wanted to know more, and I was kind of like, oh, I wish we had had more of him, like one-on-one time with him in this book. And I assume because this is Wind Witch, we're gonna get more like backstory on Cullen, so maybe it's not the end for him, at least story-wise. But I was still really sad. But then Ryber disappeared but she disappeared before that, is how they worded it at the end. It was all just too convenient. Like, we didn't really learn too much about her power. She fit the description of how kind of the puppeteer seemed to be to Isol. I mean, like, I don't know. I have my suspicions about her. I think she's someone to worry about. I also think there is something extra going on with Polo. Truth be told, I liked him with Sophia a little bit more than I did Merrick. I'm not a fan of the Merrick's type of personality. I just feel like that has been material. He has plenty of time to redeem himself, but I did not like it. Isol was by far my favorite, but I want to know what's going on with her in the coffee shop. Like, I want to get to that. I wanted that to be in this one so that then I could like be prepped for something new over here. But okay, that was my big theory, where I was just like, I have to tell somebody that I think Ryber is the puppeteer, and if she's not, like, seriously, do not tell me if I'm right or wrong, because I'm gonna find out really soon here. So like, no comments about that, no spoilers, because I want everyone to go and read this. Yeah, if you've read it though, now that I've rambled and raved about it, let me know what you thought, because I thought the writing was so cool. I thought the whole world was so cool. I loved the main characters. Taffy and Isol are like the best. I love how the magic system works. I'm obsessed with it. Like, everything about the threads and like how it's sort of like, well, it's you know, like how in Avatar: The Last Airbender, like these nations have these kind of powers and like that's well known, and like kind of looking at someone, you're like, you might be a firebender, that kind of thing. It's similar in this one, where it's like, oh, that person is like basically this world's essential of a firebender, and like you can tell, like they have the mark on them, which they don't really go into the marks. There's a lot of things where it's like it's not delved into, it's not like spelled out for you. You kind of have to figure things out as you go, and that is my type of fantasy novel. Like, I like not having things spelled out for me. I like them being like, you can figure this out as you go, like, but giving you all of the information also. I think that's the difference, because I griped a little about Throne of Glass and you're being like, hey, you're being a hypocrite now, okay? But you don't have those big gaps here. You get all of the information you need. It's just given to you as a part of the storyline. You're not given a bunch of flashbacks. You're not given a bunch of backstory. There's not hardly any exposition in this. And even when there kind of is, it's very brief and it's information that the characters needed to know. It's not for your benefit. There's never exposition for your benefit in this story. In fact, there's even times when like some exposition for the characters would benefit everybody and you're still not gonna get that. But oh, such a good read. I was just so into it. It was so fascinating and different, and like, this is the type of fantasy I want to be reading right now. Like, this is my jam. So highly recommend Truthwitch by Susan Dennard. I'm gonna start reading Windwitch like pretty much immediately. I'm sure I'm gonna like it just as much. I mean, the same characters are gonna be in it, so I'm sure I'm gonna like it. I've got 2 more books, so I think it's Sight Witch and Blood Witch are the other 2 that are out, so we'll see what I think of those ones. But yeah, I'm just really excited. I loved this story so much, so I just wanted to come and apparently rant about it. That was just a long, rambly rant. Like, genuinely strong female characters, like actually kicking butt, like actually being normal women rather than like fantasy world women or like masculine women. Like, these are the most normal women there are in this book, but like they're also trained to kill people. It's great. It's so good. Yes, go read this. That's been my review. Anyway, let me know, yeah, if you've read this or if you've read something similar that you think I should read after I finish the series, because I'm gonna be pretty focused on this for a little bit. Leave a comment down below, and please don't spoil me or tell me if I'm wrong about Ryber. I'll find out soon, and then I'll have like a rage video if I find out that I'm correct, because we shall see. Anyway, I'll talk to you again next time. Good luck to all of us. Bye!